everybody out there on YouTube. We are the Middle Age Guys. We are going to be continuing our reviews for all of the episodes of Young Justice going all the way through. This particular review is going to be covering season number 1, episode 14, Revelation, which originally aired out on October 14, 2011. Let me get the introductions out of the way first. I'm the Reverend.
The Theme here.
And I'm Grey Mouse 1.
Like I said just a few seconds ago, Season 1, Episode 14 of Young Justice Revelation first aired out on October 14th, 2011. Episode is over 6 years old, or almost 6 years old, so there are going to be no spoiler warnings like usual. But we are going to cover, like we do in all of our reviews, a short synopsis, and then 3 particular talking points. First, what we liked about the episode. Second, what we didn't like about the episode, or if there was something that we would want to change, what we would change. And then third, finally, what did we notice this time that we've been watching the episode, because we watched 3, 4, 12, 50 different times by now, that we know serves as a setup or a hint to a future episode or storyline arc. And that's what we usually cover, right, guys?
Yeah.
All right, let me go ahead and do the synopsis for this particular episode. This particular episode opens up with a huge plant sprouting out of the ground in Metropolis and then attacking the populace. After it sprouts out, it quickly dies. However, what happens is that we see the team at Mount Justice. Batman goes ahead and he zetas in, and he tells them, hey, turn on the news really quick, computer, evening news. And he shows that all over the place in places like Gotham City, Taipei, Central City, all these cities are getting attacked by these huge plant creatures that are going wild. In the midst of debriefing the team about the situation and all of that, the satellite feed gets hacked, and guess what? Lo and behold, the Joker's on the screen. He's telling everybody, hey, look, don't adjust that dial, pretty much, and that we've taken over the airwaves. He, along with the other members of the Injustice League, which consists of the Joker, Atomic Skull, Poison Ivy, Ultra Humanite, Count Vertigo, Black Adam, and Wotan, are holding pretty much these major cities hostage with this huge plant creature, and they asked for, what was it, I think, $8 billion American dollars, to be delivered to them. There's no time limit at all, but the longer it takes, the more fun that they're going to have destroying everything. And all the while that they're explaining this, the folks on the team, especially Wally West, Kid Flash, is like, okay, so when do we go out to attack these plants? And he's like, no, you guys have a different job. They're like, the Justice League will have the plants under control very shortly. Of which he expresses his disappointment, only to get socked by Artemis, which is kind of cute, right? And then at this moment in time, he asks, the interaction here is pretty cool, because Zatara walks up and he's like, you know what you're asking him to do, and he simply says they're ready. And then he's like, well, if you guys are going to be off fighting the plant, where does that leave us? And he gets socked by Artemis again. And she's like, hello, Wally. If they're going to be off fighting the plants, those are the guys that we're going to be fighting. And she points to the screen, and he figures out, oh, hey, the team is actually going to be taking on the Injustice League directly, or at least trying to find the main central place where they operate to go ahead and take it down. That part, actually, explanation was a little bit longer than what I wanted it to be. Long story short, they go ahead, they find the plant, and after an extended battle that pretty much takes up, like, literally 2/3 of the whole fucking episode, showing not only the team fighting against the Injustice League, but also the Justice League in these various other cities around the world, trying to save civilians from this huge plant attacking all these multiple spots. They succeed in defeating the Injustice League, destroying the central plant at what looks like the Hall of Doom in the bayous of Louisiana, and they destroy the plant. And right at the moment that it looks like they aren't able to go ahead and actually pull things off, Aqualad dons a helmet to bring out Dr. Fate to challenge Wotan and the rest of the Injustice League which in turn actually turns the tide of the whole battle for the end and allows them to go ahead and succeed. They wrap that up. The Justice League, they arrive there at the bayou to go ahead and mop up the villains after they get the situation all in control. And they're like, hey, with this, the secret society has been disbanded. We've handled everything. The people who have all, made everything a hell for us for the last 6 months. But it turns out that the Injustice League are actually guinea pig test proxy for the actual light itself. And at the end of this particular episode, we see who actually makes up the light, the whole super team of mega villains that are pulling the strings behind the scenes and in the shadows. And they consist of Vandal Savage, Lex Luthor, Ra's al Ghul, Ocean Master, Claire and the Rich Boy, the Bialian Queen Bee, and also the Brain, which we saw in the last episode. Yeah, exactly. That if he had a mustache, he'd be twirling that fucking thing. All right. And that's pretty much where we leave off with this particular episode. I didn't want to go ahead and do the play-by-play because literally 2/3 of the episode is like action scenes. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of stuff that's thrown in between that's really a joy to go ahead and pick up, which is where we're going to start off. For this particular episode, guys, our first talking point, as always, what did you like about the episode? Floor is open.
The introduction of Sitaro. That was one of my... Look, a lot of people don't notice, but him and Batman have a special relationship. Even though that wasn't pointed out, you could kind of tell that they were kind of, even they had a normal, rational conversation about where they were going to send the Young Justice team. It's like, yeah, you realize what you're really asking them to do. And Batman was like, they're ready. Talking to Sitaro directly. I like the way they showcased him throughout the whole, and he was very important even during the end. Yeah. So the introduction of Sitaro, I really got a kick out of that. He's the one that taught Batman how to be an escape artist. He's one of the just one of the things I liked about the episode. Gray Mouse, what about you? Name certain things that you liked about the episode.
What I liked about this episode is the fact how they've been teasing us the whole series. So we had the previous episodes prior to this, we had our run-in with the light, but we didn't know that we had a run-in with the light. At that time. We didn't know there were each episode. I think every one of them had an episode that one of the guys starred in it that we didn't really know that was the light, and up until the ending, the reveal. And I really like that. I really like that. It's just great fucking storytelling. Just straight up. Just straight fucking having that shit on a fucking board and figuring it out from the word go. Yes, I love that. I love the Injustice League. I love the character that they picked for that. I mean, you couldn't have picked the better characters. It was just great. And the fact that they took the fall for what what the Justice League thinks was the puppet behind the scenes, but it really wasn't. So I think it was Vandal Savage at the end saying that we can move forward now because that is off of us now. They think that the Justice League thinks that they got us, so now we can move on to bigger and better things. That's the main things that I really liked about this. I mean, I left a lot open. Reverend?
Yeah, there's actually this one, just like this one is actually another really big setup episode, just like the last two episodes. And again, they're hiding a lot of the deeper setup points and stuff like that with a lot of action scenes. Okay, with this particular one, that's actually, there's a lot of things that are sprinkled in there, which we're going to go ahead and we're going to touch on the third point, and that I'm going to go ahead and expand on that. But for this particular episode, if you are just like the Terrors episode, if you're big on name dropping and stuff like that, you have all of the members of the Injustice League, which we named off, all of the members of Light, which we named off. For the heroes that are showing up, we had let's see here. Yeah, there was a bunch of them. There was Batman, Zatara, Dr. Fate, Captain Atom, Superman, Martian Manhunter. Also for the other heroes that showed up out of the blue to go ahead and help people out, we also have Guy Gardner, Plastic Man, Icon, Rocket. And also on an off note, I think I know where Jared Leto got his inspiration for his Joker with this particular episode. All right, because Joker was running around with a pretty fly sports jacket, and he had the fucking pimp, zoot suit chain going on with his wallet and on his belt and shit like that. Like I said, maybe it's me reaching, but looking at how things go, and if we go ahead and we compare the things, I don't think this particular Joker is that far off. Okay, but yeah, that's pretty much a lot of stuff that I did like. Like I said, the other things that I did like, I'm actually going to cover more on point number 3. But that really kind of brings us to point number 2. What in this episode did you not like, or if you had a choice when you noticed it, what would you change?
Ooh, this is going way too far as being a nitpicky section, because there's not much that I would change about this episode, except for maybe certain people, like interactions or not speaking or whatever. Yeah, I only got one major problem, and it's nitpicky as hell. Okay. When Joker first appeared on the screen and he knocked on I wanted Batman to look and say, Joker. That was the only fucking thing that was missing for me. I mean, maybe that was just the hidden Bat fan in me. Yeah. That wanted that so bad. That he should have looked at the screen and like the eyes would have been one Joker. That would have capped off all of that, because Batman and Joker. I mean, come on. But Grey Mouse, what about you? What was you? What you didn't like?
Yeah, some of the things I didn't like was that some of the Injustice League members, they didn't get much of a part. For an example, Atomic Skull. I mean, all he did was provided the power to electricity, right? I just like to see his powers a little bit, after the Young Justice, after those guys, kill the plant. I like to see him more involved in that final fight. You don't really see. I mean, you see some, but I would like to see more of his powers displayed. And then I think Black Adam as well. I think he was just a muscle, pretty much what he was. And I would like to see a little bit better interactions. Although Captain, isn't he the art villain of Captain Marvel?
Yes.
I would like to, after when the Justice League actually came, I would like to see little interaction, just because he's there. It would have been nice to have a little, interaction between them. Like you said, God of, oh my God, dude, Wu-Tan and got Fate.
Dr. Fate, yeah.
Wu-Tan, Fate, and actually Sataro is a part of that too.
Correct. And I like to see a little bit of Count Vertigo. I mean, I thought that he actually did pretty good, because that guy just about paralyzed the whole Young Justice. I mean, pretty much, with his power. Yeah. But anyway, that's just nitpicking, But certain characters, like you said, the Joker and the Batman, there was no interaction and I was like, wait a minute. I mean, the Joker's not to be outdone with his freaking venom, But I'm just saying, it could have been. He had some art villains that were, that are enemies that are. Yeah, I just wish you could have expanded it out a little bit more. They could shorten the fight a little bit more, or something to have more interactions with, yin and yang, because there's so many matchups on there. It really was, and all we got was Fate and
Wotan.
I was like, come on, man.
Yeah, I think the funny thing is that myself, before we started up this video and everything, I rewatched the episode to make sure that my notes were right, because there were a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of names to drop. But one of the things, the only thing that I really didn't like, the one thing that really sticks out like a sore thumb to me, comes down to character interactions, just like what you guys were saying. You know, maybe we're expecting a little bit more from some of the characters that we know and everything, but there is one particular line, it just sticks out like a sore thumb. And I think maybe they're like, okay, we got the voice actor to go ahead and do this. He's only here for this fucking episode. We're not going to call him in to re-record the line and ADR it, you know, later. But it really stuck out because what happens is that when Dr. Fate, when Aqualad finally puts on the helmet of Dr. Fate, and Dr. Fate faces off with Wotan, Dr. Fate says, "Wotan, you are mine," right? And that's what he says to him. Well, right afterwards, the Joker imitates his line,
Robin.
you know, toward Robin. But what he says is, "Wonder Boy, you are mine." And I'm like, Wonder Boy?
Yeah.
Doesn't he mean Boy Wonder
Boy
or
Wonder.
Robin? Who the fuck is Wonder Boy? And like I said, the only thing that makes sense to me for that particular line is that, guess what? You know, Joker is great of a character that he is. He only shows up in Young Justice once for this particular episode, all right? And they probably already had the line recorded and everything else, and the voice actor wasn't able to come back in for a second session just to redo that line or to go ahead and ADR it. And yeah, that right there, it stuck out. I was like, no, that, and the thing is that I remember that from the first time I saw this fucking episode.
Yeah.
And when I watched it again 2 days ago, just knowing that we were going to go ahead and do this, it stuck out to me, and then it did again. Yeah, I didn't realize how much it bugged me, but it just, yeah, it really bugs me.
With me, it didn't really bug me because I felt that was the Joker being the Joker.
Yeah, a joke.
But
I can see where the Reverend. But
yeah, I thought it was. I understand where you're coming from, but I took it as a knock. You know, a Joker being the Joker. You know, and then
maybe he should have said Boy Blunder.
Yeah, Boy Blunder or Boy Wonder or something like that. But Wonder Boy.
But he did say, "I always wanted to carve this bird."
Yeah,
you know, and that was great. But that particular line, like I said, I don't know if it was messed up by the actor or something, but that always stuck out.
There's another thing that I would like to change. That would have had change. I would have loved to see Aqualad inside the Helmet of Fate. This episode should have been 1 fucking hour, in order to accommodate all of that. But but because Kid Flash was upset at the end. He's like, "What were you thinking? You know, Gowder is going to be trapped inside Dr. Fate forever." And then next thing you know, he takes the helmet off. He's like, "He let you go?" He's like, "He almost did not." He's like, "But Kent Nelson, he says hello right away." And I was like, I wonder what that interaction was like between Aqualad, Dr. Fate, and Kent Nelson. I always wondered that. And damn, Humanite didn't hardly do anything at all.
Yeah. The Ultra Humanite.
He should have been talking intellectually all fucking episode. But again, this episode would have been like at least an hour long.
Yeah, I think with this particular one, considering what I brought up and considering like what everybody else has said, I think they got to the point where they're like, all right, we only have a certain number of voice actors here to go ahead and take care of this particular episode.
Losses.
And it's only going to be 22 running minutes anyway, so let's just go ahead and handle what we can.
But it was still a great episode, though.
Oh, yeah.
What they presented. But it was just, I mean, like I say, it's nitpicky. Yeah. But fuck, dude, I would have loved to have seen a couple of things that I just mentioned.
So if we were to sum up like what we hated about or didn't like about it, it would be just character interaction would probably be numero uno on that list. I mean, this is what pretty much all of us said.
Not quite that. I would have to say specifically that there wasn't enough time for more character interaction, or at least character interaction that we were already kind of expecting. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. But, like I said, they do wonderful things with this. And in fact, it is a very huge setup episode, which will bring us to our third talking point. What did we notice this time around when we watched it that serves as a setup or a reference or a hint for something that's coming in the future. Floor is open.
For one, let's look at the characters that first popped up on the screen this episode. You had Icon, you had Rocket, you had Guy Gardner.
Yeah.
Okay, look, you had Wotan. Most of these motherfuckers are coming back. Or even, wait, this is the first and last episode that Joker and Poison Ivy are going to be in, right?
Yeah, you don't see Poison Ivy again. I don't even see.
Yeah.
You don't see Black Adam there. You don't see Black Adam or Atomic Skull.
Oh, yeah, those you don't see those guys no more.
But again, fuck, you see all these characters, good guys and bad guys, appear, and you know they're going to be. Some of them are going to be showing up later on.
Yep.
For me, I would say almost the same context as what the theme was saying. I would have, although we know the series is old, way back, I think, 6 years old now. It would have been really nice to see a couple more episodes on the Injustice League. It would have been really nice to see those characters brought back with some storyline attached to it. But I know that was a placeholder to move the plot of the overall season 1 forward with revealing who the Light is. So yeah, I mean, I would think that I would have really liked to see the Injustice League, either that or the Joker again, the Atomic Skull. I would like to see those characters again. Maybe not as the Injustice League, but individually or whatever. And then also, like you said, you've seen Guy Garner, you've seen, we'll see Stewart. We'll see a lot of the green. Actually, we'll see both Green Lanterns on the same screen, in the future. So something's big is coming. You could tell just by the characters, the enormity of how many characters are being presented, and it seems like as the episodes move forward. I mean, the previous one, what was it, Alpha Male? The previous one was like, we had a whole shitload of characters in that one. And now this one, it's like another 10 times as much. So we're building up to something, and you could tell.
Yeah. I think with this particular one where the episode really gets really kind of intricate and really gets really kind of deep is that when you have the guest starring heroes showing up to help out Justice League, in particular folks like Guy Gardner, Plastic Man, Icon, Rocket.
Yeah.
These are all names that come up again in the Agendas episode, which is probably my favorite fucking episode of season 1. All right. All of them, this particular episode has direct impact with shit that goes down with Agendas. All right. That's one of the things that definitely has very deep roots. It solidly sets that up. The other thing that it sets up is that, look, like Grey Mouse had mentioned earlier, we had seen all of the members of the Light in other individual episodes. This is the first time you have all the motherfuckers in the same goddamn room. All right. Proving that, okay, secret society of supervillains, all right, or whatever Batman called them or whatnot, the Injustice League, they are not. Yes, they had the Hall of Doom, which was great, and I loved that for the fact that it came straight out of the fucking Super Friends, all right? But yeah, the whole thing with that is that we see the Light, in their full glory, stepping out, saying, hey, this is all of us here, all right? So yeah, definitely a lot of setup when it comes to that. Like I said, especially for the Agendas episode, which is episode number 22. That definitely really, really cool. All right. Is there anything else we wanted to go ahead and add on the pile?
I want to add some stuff on the pile, especially the Light. Do you realize that I think 4 out of the 7 Light members are genius intellect?
Yeah. I mean, you have like the greatest masterminds of the DC villains, pretty much.
Exactly. That's what I find. What I find very interesting. Anyway, but yeah, I find that very interesting about that. I mean, and it shows too at the plots that they do further on, you know, as it sets it up the next episode and the next and the next and the next. But absolutely, I think this is one of the better ones.
But as you just pointed out with the light, I'm going to add to that. Look at as far as the intellect, but look at the fucking mystical points.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you have Clarion, Vandal Savage, those two alone, and then Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul, yeah.
Like, it's like, whoa, you got these motherfuckers that have been around and alive and has been part of mystical arts for a very, very fucking long time. Those three alone are just immediate dangers to everything.
Yep.
And then
everything.
You know, one thing that we keep forgetting too is what about Ocean Master?
Yep.
Well, you see, I think this is one of the only times you see him.
Yeah.
Because usually, as far as it goes, when it taking care of the folks or taking care of the things that happen in Atlantis, usually you see the Black Manta doing a lot of the dirty work. All right. But it turns out, you know, we find out that Black Manta isn't a member of the Light.
Yeah.
He's just doing dirty work for fucking Ocean Master. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's one of those things that all the name dropping and a lot of that stuff is just like it's a lot of fan service, but I love this for the fact that it's fan service with a purpose. Yeah. Okay. We can sit there, we can geek out, we can have our nerdgasms, but since we're at the vantage point that yes, we've seen this whole series and everything multiple times, we see that yes, this is actually working towards something that's really, really good overall. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's bring this one up to a close. All right. Like we usually do with every particular episode, on a scale of yay, nay, or meh, let's go ahead and give our final thoughts. Floor is open, guys.
Hell yeah. Hell yes. This episode provided us with a lot, even in the limited amount of time that they had. They set up shit. They dealt with shit. There was a lot of action. And there was a lot of team interaction with the team. And they even fended off some super villains. You know, of course, they needed help from the League at the end, but they held their own to a point.
Yeah.
I mean, so, hell yes. Watch this episode. It opens the doors to a lot.
Yep.
I will agree with hell yeah. It was definitely a door opening for future events. Also, it kind of also carried on the subtle things of, you know, Wally and Artemis's relationship is starting to develop. You know, like at the very beginning, those, you know, Robin was talking. Those two are
Aqualad. Yeah.
Those two are a couple, right? And then when Kid Flash and Artemis walked up, but they don't know, you know, or something along those lines.
Yeah, should we tell them? Like, no,
it's not our place.
Not our place.
So they even in all the crap that went on during this episode, they threw that in. And what we keep forgetting is that these guys, you know, we've bitched a lot of times on this. These guys are teenagers, and like the theme said earlier, you know, there was a lot of whipping ass. They actually held their own up to a point, and then, you know, they needed the Justice League to come in and help. I mean, they got their ass beat. You know, I mean, they were on the brink of losing. But just the fact that, you know, all the payoff from all the episodes up until episode 14, there was a great payoff with the revelation of the Light, slurring here. And the fact that, you know, they've been dropping hints throughout all the other episodes of who the Light are. Now we get a confirmation of who the Light is.
Yeah.
So, hells yeah. Watch this episode.
Yeah, I would have to agree unanimously. This one's a yay for me. Here's the great thing about us doing these particular reviews. A few episodes back, I believe it was episode number, I think it was either Bereft or Downtime. I said that it was a near perfect episode. This particular one, I gotta say, is, except for that one fucking line that bugs me. All right, this is about as perfect of an This is about as perfect as an episode as you can get, because the thing is that all of us agree that this particular episode they could have easily made into 2 or 3 fucking episodes, and it probably would have worked out really fucking good. All right. So if that's not the definition of wanting more, I don't know what the fuck that is, really. Okay. So yeah, this particular episode is definitely probably one of the best episodes that they've done so far. Guess what? In its essence, it's a setup episode. All right. It's not the climax to anything. It's not like, it's setup is what it is. And, but it does it so masterfully that it's like, wow, there's a lot to appreciate here. When it comes to the episode, okay, and it comes to the development of the team and everything else, it could all be summed up in one fucking line that Batman said right at the very beginning. They're ready.
They're ready.
Okay.
Yes.
And when it comes to them, like I said, it's an big fucking set of action sequences for 2/3 of the whole fucking episode, all right? Where at the end, yes, they had to rely on plan B, but Aqualad knew to go ahead and plan for something just in case shit went really, really wrong, all right? So he went ahead and he had that. And
it's funny because...
Yeah.
It's funny because you say that will come again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That particular plan B will come again, but it will be under different situations.
Yep. But as far as it goes, it really did prove, not only did you have this team that went ahead and developed up all the way through the last 13 episodes or last 12 episodes or whatnot, that no, these are no longer the green newbies that were, having a problem with Mr. Twister in episode number 3.
Yeah.
Well, and these are no longer the sidekicks.
Yeah, these are no longer the sidekicks. This is their own team.
Relying on their mentors 100% of the time.
They
actually function as a team.
That's what's so beautiful about what you just said, Reverend, was that this was a setup episode, and in its rightful right, it's a payoff episode as well. If you've been following up until this, 1 through 13, you get your big payoff, the big revelation, and then it's just going to go forward and get better and better and better.
Yeah, and it's one of the things that, like I said, maybe it's part of the fact that we've seen these particular episodes multiple times, but it's one of the things that I've actually grown to appreciate, especially now that I'm looking at these episodes a little bit closer than I did like the first few times I watched them. But that's pretty much going to sum up where we're at with this particular review. Like we always say, if you've come up to this point so far and you followed us all the way in the end, thank you very much. But what we really want to know, you've heard our thoughts. We want to know your thoughts. You can tell us by leaving us a comment below. While you're at it, if you really liked our review, and you go ahead and mash on that like button. And if you really like what we do here with the videos we go ahead and put out, whether it be reviews, video games, movies, or other random stuff, if you want to stick around, you want to know when we put out new stuff, hit subscribe and turn on those notifications. With that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up our thoughts on Season 1, Episode 14 of Young Justice, entitled Revelation, right here. I'm the Reverend.
The Theme here.
And I'm Grey Mouse 1.
All forms of entertainment has the right to exist, even if you don't like it, and we definitely love some Young Justice. Credits.